Everybody. Wonderful to see you. It is wonderful to be having a sane and sensible conversation. I'm just going to click on welcome back, everyone, so that I'm doing all the right tech things. So here it is. It's the 19th of September. And it is a bit kind of chilly where I am, a bit rainy, a bit kind of sulky, which, what's that thing, nature in harmony with the deed? What do they call it? Pathetic something. It's pathetic, all right. So I want to talk today about arrogance. I want to talk about that kind of smug thing we run into a lot. Either we hear ourselves doing it and think, "Oh, here we go," or we have somebody else doing it at us, and we think, "Take that deep breath, keep smiling. We can get through this." Cheers, by the way. Oh, it's very difficult to feel arrogant or annoyed when you have a sip of something that tastes great and is nice and warm and comforting. One more. I still can't get over the idea that people were trying different beans and pouring water on them to see if it tasted any good, like how long it took to get it right. So, anyway, here's what's been happening for me, with me. On the one hand, many amazing, uh, delicious, fabulous pieces are falling into place for my project. The many faces, the many, many faces of pivotry and motion are the many faces that we have. And I don't mean two-faced, I mean the many different versions of us, and also the many faces, the many people that I've interviewed, that I'm coming in contact with, that I'm hearing their stories, and they're sharing all kinds of insights and ideas with me. And it's an extraordinary way to connect. A long time ago, when I started my boutique publishing company, Publisher, my slogan was, and still is, it really resonates. Our stories tell us who we are. They hold the key to our immortality, and they do, because the legends we pass on, the things we learn about the people who came before us, whose DNA we carry, it gives us a sense of who we are and where we are on our trajectory. It gives us balance. It anchors us. It gives us a sense of safety because we are part of something. And and the stories are so important because they save time. They provide context. It creates that people like us thing. People like us do things like this, and that is important because it gives us identity. It gives us a sense of belonging. We get to recognize good spaces for us to stand. And then there's the other side of it, which I have been running into a lot lately. And my challenge is to not get sucked into it. My challenge is to stay um, to arm's length it. And it's a real challenge for me because uh, stupidity is one of those things that just makes me, stupidity is one thing, ignorance is another thing. Innocence, simply not knowing, is perfectly okay. It's part of the learning curve. But arrogance that comes from knowing a little bit, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. And when you have a lineage, and when you have tradition, and when you have size and strength behind you, um, it does a funny thing. It ruins our eyesight. It makes it very difficult. It makes it a challenge for us to keep our eyes open, and to be willing to recognize when there are exceptions to our set and standard rules and regulations. It makes it difficult for us to be flexible. It makes it really hard to be brave enough to color outside the lines, the way we used to when we were, um, you know, well, me all the time, but most of us back in the day. And the struggle that I'm dealing with so much. And it ends up being unhelpful. It ends up that I'm unhelpful because my reaction. So, backstory. I was appointed executor to the estate of my dear, sweet, wonderful friend, Dave, who got sick last year and whose journey through 5 different kinds of cancer and 6 different hospitals and specialists and other issues came to a sudden and complete and final stop when he had a heart attack in his sleep. And leaning out in the boat against the wind stopped and everything fell down. And shortly after that, when we all got our breath and stood up and said, okay, so what are we supposed to do now? What began after that was the process of creating the right kind of closing. Closure is different. Closure is emotional. This was financial, and this was legal, and this was structural, and this was integral. And to do it properly was to honor him and his wishes. And roughly 5 seconds after that process began, we began meeting all kinds of people who were so filled with arrogance. It was a wonder they could cross the street without getting run over because their eyes were shut almost completely. In a career path, well, good morning, Charles. In a career path where your job every day is to go to work and help people who are going through a difficult grieving process and give them the space and the comfort and the structure to help them navigate completely unfamiliar waters. That's the job. You kind of hope that people take their compassion pill in the morning with their coffee before they get in the car, or that they circumnavigate areas that maybe trigger their road rage, so when they walk into work, they're not ready to pick a fight with somebody who's not armed. And we kept running into all kinds of what appeared on the outside to be pointless delays and pointless red tape. And a kind of, well, of course, if you understood how this, well, so this is your job to explain it to me, because I just got here and you've been here a while. So I'm the new guy and you're the old guard. So you tell me how it works. Well, here's the thing. I mean, we don't have time for that. So blah, 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 unhelpful. And then what happens in all of these procedures for anything, whether it's let's say it's not the loss of someone. Let's say it's a turning of a page in some other way. You start a new job, you leave the old one, you sell a house, you buy a new one, you rent a new space, you get a car, you decide to go to school or graduate. Anything that is a major turning point in our lives puts us directly at a crossroads with crossing guards and guides whose job it is to help us navigate the traffic. That's their job. And here's the thing that I've noticed that I think is part and parcel of all of the I'm lost, I'm exhausted, I don't know where my mommy is, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, my sock has slipped down inside my boot, I'm hungry, I don't know what I feel like eating, the fridge is empty, I didn't have the energy to go buy groceries. Whatever it is that we are struggling with, we are very much in need of a little bit of help. And I have the help, which is why first we have to help me with it, and then we have to help them with it. We have to teach me, remind me to breathe, and then go get the tools and then help them. That's the plan. Only sometimes when you're up close and right there in it, it's difficult. It's so difficult to take a step back. So my trigger mechanisms yesterday were 2 emails that I received and a registered letter. So the registered letter, which I had to sign for, was from the law office. And what is supposed to be inside it, what it's supposed to contain are 2 documents. One is the legal opinion of the Superior Court in the province in which the event took place that says Abby's in charge. The other document is the original of the will that says, and this is what Abby does now, right? The document from the court and the original will. So here's what's inside it. The document from the court is dated wrong. It's not dated like instead of the 18th, it's the 19th. No, it's dated instead of 2023, it's dated 2003. I don't know what that means other than it's wrong. And that incorrect date is in there 3 times on one page. Okay. And by the way, this one page, yeah, June, July, August, September, 4 months to process. The date is wrong. It's off by 20 years. Okay. What else does this person do for a living? Nothing. This is what this person does for a living. The other thing that's wrong, they didn't put in the original will. They put in a copy. Why does that matter? Well, because everybody needs to see it. So we wrote to the lawyer who sent this to me. Please note, what do we do now? So that was the first thing. The second thing was the outreach. Charles, what? I know. Take the calming breath. Have more coffee. That may not calm us down. The second thing is an outreach to the financial institution that is handling all of the affairs. And they I didn't tell anybody that this is a problem. Because I'm waiting for the legal people to tell me that it's not a problem. Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. Or, oh, we'll take care of it right away. I don't think either one of those is going to be the answer, but I'm really hoping for door number 3 as being a really good door. So the next thing, the bank, the financial institution, which I visited 4 times, which took the original will from me briefly, walked it within my eyesight over to a copy machine and went funkada, 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 5 copies, and then stamped each one that said certified copy of, and then in front of me and my people signed, and then handed it to somebody else who also signed, gave me back the original, gave me 2 of the signed, stamped, certified copies. They kept the others in their office, in their branch of that institution. I had witnesses with me. So yesterday, 4 email exchanges, them insisting they need to see the original will and that a copy of any kind won't do. And me replying, you've already seen the original will. That's how you made stamped, certified, dated, signed copies. You've seen it. You've had it in your hands. It's the same will. They said, you don't understand. Clearly not. These are the same people who called me and told me that I had to drive 4 hours round trip to hand deliver a form to somebody. That's your job. Well, we need authorized chain of command. Okay. Get an authorized financial institution courier. That's not how it works. Yes, it is. So here's what happens to me. Charles had similar issues with the passing of his dad. We have all had similar issues. And there is some comfort, in knowing that it's not just happening to me. It's not like all the gods in the universe has all turned and said, let's see how long it's going to take her to start humming that tuneless little hum. It's not that. So I know it's not. The thing is that in the midst of all of this, in the midst of the fact that it's a year ago that we first realized that there was something terribly, terribly wrong. And he passed on the 18th of February. So 6 months later, we are still dealing with it. And of course, emotionally, and of course, in terms of the ripple effect, all the people who knew and worked with and cared about and collaborated with and had and still has memories with. This will never really go away. It becomes a part of the fabric of who we are. And we learn how to put it in context, and we learn how to find reasons to smile. And we certainly learn how to have reasons to be so grateful for what we did have for as long as we had it. Of course we do all of that. Of course that's where the value is. What this set of circumstances is unnecessary, unkind, and unhelpful. Oh, Freddie, thank you so much. I so appreciate it. You're very, very sweet, and I appreciate every single word, every single thought from all of you. It is so lovely to see and hear that you feel for me, and you know what I've been going through. So in this thing today, in getting these increasingly haughty replies to my okay, but then what, and now what, and why this? What happens is people get defensive because, of course, they've been challenged, and of course they know deep down that they're an idiot, or they've done an idiotic thing, and they're not going to recognize it or acknowledge it or take responsibility for it because they don't have to, they don't want to. You can't make me. You're not the boss of me, right? So this is why the subject today is why arrogance ruins our eyesight. Because to every degree of arrogance with which each of these people has communicated to me, they are unaware that it's exposing either their indifference or their incompetence or their complete inability to take responsibility. The question is, why is this happening? It's okay. So they're being jerks, and so okay, it's causing delays that aren't necessary. Okay, and it may be justifying their existence within their spheres. Okay, all of that. But what do we do about it? What do we do about it? Because I'll tell you the thing that is so easy and so seductive and so pointless is to sink to that level and yell back when they make a stupid, thoughtless, snarky remark. The temptation is there to say, oh yeah, well. And the thing is, then it ruins our day. It ruins our mood. It ruins our joy. It leeches away all of the great, good, fabulous abundance that we do have. And we're the ones who allow it to happen. We're the ones who open the door to it. So, duh. Nobody comes over and says, I'm going to make you miserable. We have to decide to buy into the misery. We get to choose that. Or we get to say, no, you know what? I'm not really, I had a banana on the drain. I'm good. And so this was my thought today. And I was looking back through my Pivotry notes because, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited about this project. Every single day it gets better and better and better. And I can't wait. I know you can't either. I can't wait for you to start to see what it's looking like. It's just so exciting. So here's the thing. Here's what happens. When we are confused, when we, suddenly find ourselves channeling the little inner child version of us that suddenly can't find mommy in the shopping center, and is really panicky, and we sit there or we stand there crying and calling mommy or daddy's, until somebody comes and says, honey, it's okay. When we get there, we're not thinking straight. We're not thinking straight. So we look for safe places to go. We look for things that make us feel protected in some way. You know, a lot of the time when little kids go missing in stores, what people discover, same things in the woods, what people often discover is that in terror, they found a place to hide. You know, the little kid in a dress store hides in amongst the dresses, hides underneath something. In the woods, they hide in a bush. Okay, good thinking in terms of survival, but we can't find you if you're quiet and you're hidden. How do we know where you are? How can we come to your rescue, right? And so in the same way, when people who have had nobody in charge to tell them how to navigate a pandemic, how to navigate a sudden and dramatic change in extreme weather, how to navigate sudden losses of people we know and love and depend on, how to cope with and come up with a plan B or C or L or P for when our business closes or our jobs downsize or we have to move and we don't speak the language. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying to feel suddenly set adrift. No anchor, no rudder, no map, and no one at the front of the boat saying it's this way. Terrifying. Really. It freezes us. We go into shock. It's normal behavior. So how do we look for places that make us feel safe? Well, we look for things that are predictable. We look for routines and rituals and rules because those are big and those are solid and those are things we can hand off the responsibility to. They become our alpha protection. They become the wall that we put between us and what's scary. They become the big warm comfort that we can lean into when we're exhausted, when we're tired of trying and not getting anywhere. They become our safety zone, our comfort zone. And the longer it works and the more safe we feel, the more entrenched we can become. And when someone we don't know, when someone who hasn't joined us questions our decision, we think they're crazy. Look, I made this decision and look, I'm fine. I'm safe. This structure, this organization, these rules, my supervisor, they have my back. I'm part of something. You're nuts. When I'm this and you're that, arrogance sets in. And we stop looking, and we stop listening, and we stop caring. And we become set in our ways. And when we're challenged, we defend with all the strength we have. Because deep down, the fear is still there. The fear of what if I'm wrong? What if this is only temporary? What if they're right? No, they can't be right. And besides, I've been here too long. I've invested too much in this. I've got a parking space, and I've got a title, and I've got benefits, and I've got a corner office, and I'm valued here. Who are you? It's easy. It's so easy. It's so easy to take the first steps in compromising what we know is really true to keep ourselves safe. It's so easy to take those first steps to sacrifice certain things that used to matter, but we're willing to trade them away. So easy. So what is going on here with me in the short term, and with all the people whose stories are so similar to mine, everyone who has a loved one or a colleague or a friend or a neighbor or someone whose paths we intersect with in some way, shape, or form, when something happens, our ability to feel for them, to reach out and say, "You okay? Hey, just wanted to say thanks. Everything all right?" Our ability to do that goes away. Why? Because our eyes are closed. Because we're focused on the thing that makes us safe, that makes us important, that makes us special, that blinds us to our goofy, lazy mistakes. Because think of that chain of command on these two documents. How many sets of hands did they go through? How many people didn't actually read the documents? Didn't actually check for the few key things that matter. Names, dates, correct stamps, signatures. You know how you can tell an original document from a copy? Original documents are signed in blue ink. That's to differentiate from the fact that when you copy, it comes out black. So you're not ever supposed to use a black pen. I have a blue stamp on the document from the Superior Court, the one that has the date wrong 3 times, off by only 20 years, that everybody in the chain of command had to look at. And it's easy, it's easy to scan something like with your eyes. I don't mean, on a document scanner. It's easy to see 2003 and think you read 2023. It's easy. I mean, if it said 1776, could be different. Easy to make that mistake. But 3 times? 3 times. In big, bold print. 3 times. Times how many people? And the very people who know the vital importance of having original documents, the very people whose job it is to make sure, in fact, one of the delays in this whole thing was that the secretary from the law firm sent in a certified copy of the will with the application to the Superior Court, just on the off chance that they might lose it. Okay, Superior Court says, no, we need the original. Nuh-uh. And then somewhere along the way, they stapled a copy to their document. You know how I know that? Because it's stapled in here. What do? I say, excuse me, I need the original. Well, you have the original. No, I don't. See, I don't have the original. What do we do now? They need the original, and they need the original, and they need the original, and they need the original. What do we do now? And right after I sent that email to that lawyer, you know what happened? Nothing, no reply. I'm sure it wasn't because they were golfing. I'm sure it was because they were all running around going, because it's only been 7 mistakes. And in advance of each of the mistakes, there has been a certain measure of arrogance. Well, Abby, you have no idea how this works. Well, clearly neither do you. Just saying. So this is my danger zone. my immediate reaction. Clearly neither do you. Ta-da! That's not helpful, is it? Because now they have to defend something stupid, and they know it's stupid, and they know that I know it's stupid, and that makes them even more building walls. It's not helping me. So you know what I did instead, and this is what I want to talk about. Why it happens is because predictability and process and procedure and rules and regulations and routines are safe measures that people adopt as a defense against fear, as a defense against error. There are checks and balances that everyone goes through. The problem is that when they become routines and you do it all the time, it's like driving down the highway. You can fall asleep looking at the dots on the line or the line. That's why you have to look in other directions, and you have to look at trees, and you have to count backwards from 50 and whatever it is that we do, because the same old puts us to sleep. It doesn't keep us sharp. And we all know this, but we know it here. The subconscious brain is the one that goes on autopilot and ignores things like this, because the subconscious brain is ancient. It exists before words. None of this stuff means anything. You know, if you said to the subconscious brain, should I make sure I killed it before I drag it back into the cave? That would be a plan. Yeah, let's do that. I don't know how to transfer that question into what the situation that's going on now. I'm going to have to think about it. So, because ultimately you see the defense for these people in hiding behind and establishing and then hiding behind all these structures that limit their responsibility, that limit their liability, is that it has no bearing on them whether it succeeds or fails. They were tasked with a job. They performed the function. That's the end of it for them. They're not going to get fired. There's no accountability. There's no fallout. I can't appeal to them on a personal level because they leave their personal level at home. They don't bring it to work. Work is where they show up, clock in and clock out. So how do we fix the fallout? That is what really matters. That is the big thing. So we know why it happens. We know what the steps are. We can see the gradual disintegration of quality and personal accountability and passion for a job well done. We can see that gradually turning to dust, right? We all see it. Here's the thing. We have two responsibilities. They're doing what they do. We can't change them. We can, however, change two things for us. The first one is to pick our battles. Very important to pick our battles. Before we can pick our battles, you know that later folder I talk about all the time? The later folder, for those of you who are not familiar with the concept, is that I keep a folder with me all the time. And I have the word later written on it. And I keep pieces of lined paper inside the folder. And anytime I have to do something important, before I start this new important thing, I open the folder and I write down the thing that I have been working on, the many things I have been working on. I just, little bullet points, no big detail. I know what I'm referring to. Write it down, write it down, write it down. At the end of it, I say, I'll be back. I literally write, I'll be back. I actually say it out loud and I sound exactly like a female version of Arnold Schwarzenegger, only with a much worse accent. I'll be back. Then I close the folder and I give the folder a little pat. I put the folder down and then I go, okay, next. Why do I do that? I do that to get rid of the residual emotion that's associated with those things. I do that to set that aside with no baggage coming with. It's all over there. It's all contained. My subconscious brain doesn't have to worry that I'll forget the important stuff because I've written it down. I've patted it. I've told it I'll be back. I've told my subconscious brain, I'll be back. Subconscious brain, I go, oh, geez, what a lousy accent. I'm mortified. Don't sing. And then I move forward. I do it all the time, and it's become so ingrained. I don't really have to consciously think about it. Subconscious brain just goes and gets the folder. It's right over there. So that is an amazing routine. The other thing, of course, is that when you're done this, before you move on to the next one, you get the folder back and you write down what you just did because you're going to do another thing. But then you look at all the previous stuff, and a very interesting thing happens. Because you stepped away with your head clear, you have a totally different perspective on the things prior on the list that were worrying you. You have clarity because this 5 steps back allows us to think. It allows us to be strategic. It allows us to remember what the end game is. In any battle, there are skirmishes, and all of them are supposed to help us take the steps closer to our end game, to our goal, to our next chapter. That's the plan. Where we go off the rails is when we get completely diverted and sidetracked and sucked into any one of these other things that are not ours to own. They're not ours to own. No, it is my responsibility to hire people to do tasks, to check on them, to find out that it's being done, to hold myself and them accountable for the tasks it's well within my purview to say, how's it going? Where are we now? What's been completed? What's next? And how long? And I've been asking that all along. And when I do that and I don't get a satisfactory answer, I just keep asking. And that's when the arrogance starts to appear. Listen, it's, understand your concern, of course, but really, blah, 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 great height, you know nothing. And then they mess it up. And I'm there saying, oh yeah? How's it going now? I know everything. That's unhelpful. Why? Because I've just created a battle I didn't need to fight. They're now going to defend themselves over something irrelevant. Who started it? Well, me. To get even. Was that helpful? No. Stupid. So how do we fix the fallout? We know why people are becoming increasingly disconnected, disengaged, disoriented, apathetic. We know why. How do we contribute to drawing a line somewhere so that it doesn't just keep getting worse? How do we do that? We do that by not engaging in what did happen or the way it happened. We do it by saying, all right, so here we are. Now what? How do I keep me safe while this has to unfold? I have sent everybody involved in these errors very clear messages. And I'm not telling them anything they don't know. I'm also copying all kinds of other people on each one of these communications. So it isn't just a little secret between us. Let's not tell anybody. Oh, no, everybody knows. Everybody knows. And so now it's not just me who gets to say so. What's happening? Now we got the Hallelujah chorus doing it. And now other people are invested in the outcome. Because if the bank needs an original, it shouldn't be me who's the only messenger in the conversation. So link the bank with the lawyer, with the superior court. Where's the original? It's not my fault. I'm the one experiencing the fallout, but you all have jobs to do. Let's get her done. That is going to happen. That is already happening. I know, because involving everybody in it. How do I protect me? And this is the other thing. I need to find my way back to why. it matters. I need to find my way back to my goal, my journey, my dream. My journey is ongoing. My interests, my excitement, my passion to make stuff work better, to bring laughter, to trigger joy, to fan the flames of we got this. That's where my intention is. That's where my head is. That's where my heart is. This is what really matters. These things are vital to the success, to the moving forward. I'm not diminishing them in any way, but I refuse to allow my passion and my excitement and my emotional focus to be vampired by this. I refuse to allow myself to be drained dry because there are too many important, amazing, exciting things waiting right there, just right there. And I'm just right here, and I have to get from here to there with all of you, for all of you. I'm not going to allow that to ruin it. So how do I fix the fallout? How do I stop the ripple effect from creating a toxic environment that drains me of my energy and my drive and lowers my expectations? How do I prevent it from hurting me? How do I keep me safe? How do I keep me and my inner child happy and excited and leaning in? What do? I talk about it. I think of the people who make me smile. I think of the crazy, silly, funny, accidental things that made me laugh so hard I doubled over. I think of conversations I have with people who, who have a great sense of humor. So when they do something goofy and I say, wow, that's fairly special. And they blink and they say, and then we both laugh because they know I'm not attacking them. They know I love them. Where I live, there are some amazing people managing this facility, and I am just so grateful for them. I had this conversation with one of them. I received an email from somebody who said, moving forward, we will be doing all of this by email to signify your agreement with this policy, to signify your agreement with this digital policy. Please download and print the attached form, fill it out, sign it, and bring it to us. I read the email. Because I know what's going to happen when I walk in the office. Because I also printed the original email, right? Of course I did. These are props, all good actors. Check your props. So I printed both, printed the email, and then I printed the attachment, and I filled it out. I signed it, checked off, yes, I agree. And I walked into the office and I said, hi, I'd like to read you an email I just received. I was the first one. The person me, the person get a little note later, a little text. You're a riot. We love you. Thank goodness. So, so back in the day, I used to say this, and I think I think it bears using. Well, good morning, Christine. How are you on this very strangely chilly day? So I'm regaling my audience with more crazy things that seem to be happening. I can't wait to share it with you when we have dinner. So here's the thing. Laughter cures many of our problems. Why? Because it's a reset. A, it's free. B, it doesn't cause cavities. There's no calories. Fabulous, darling. Laughter is a shared thing, brings us together. And most importantly, what it does is it triggers something in here that is a positive sensation. And everything that was scaring us gets shooed off into the distance. And in that shared moment of laughter at the foolishness of mankind and womankind and every other kind, we reset and we remember who we are. And we remember that we always get another chance to get it right, to do it better, to try again, to try something different, come at it from a different angle, whatever. And that is how we fix the fallout. We put a stop to it. We say no to the toxic tsunami. Nope, sorry, no. Not going to do it. Not going to be involved. It's not easy to do sometimes. That's what the later folder is so helpful for. Write it down, get it out. Don't keep writing it down. Don't keep living there. Write it down and say, these are the things I'm letting go. I am letting go of. I am letting go of. I am letting go. I do not need. I do not need. I am better, bigger, happier, busier, more productive. I got stuff to do. Write it down. Read it out loud. They're your marching orders. They are the things that make you say, people like me do it this way. It doesn't always have to be people like us. We're never alone. We're never alone. It doesn't mean we have to be sheep. It means we can lead. It means we can rebel. It means we can say, I wonder if that's a shortcut. It means we can be creative and resilient. And most important of all, it means that we have permission to care. We have permission to care about our quality of life. We have permission to say, we deserve better. You deserve better. You deserve to have a great day at work. You deserve to say, you know what? I did a good job. I did that well. Yay me. You deserve that. And all the people you affected by that thing you did well, they deserve that too. None of us deserves, you know what? It's not that bad. None of us deserves that. We've done nothing to earn that. We've done everything to earn awesome. How do I know? Well, I've been looking around. I've figured it out. So here's what I want to tell you that's really kind of exciting. I'm meeting with some people this week. Some of the meetings are virtual, some of them are in person. And I'm meeting with some people this week who have the ability to help me get on bigger platforms. I don't mean bigger than this. There's nothing bigger than this. But bigger platforms than just me standing on a street corner with pencils in a cup. And they're excited. They're the ones who've reached out and said, let's talk. I really like where you're going with this. Let's talk. So the outreaches are working. The outreaches are making things happen. And that's so exciting. So incredible. My ankle, when I stepped on a pebble and fell over like a sack of potatoes, my ankle is improving. I'm still not ready to wear shoes or boots or fabulous, funny, crazy stilettos. I'm still doing the whole, I meant to do that. It looks like an UGG. It's really a slipper with an ankle warmer over top, because I don't want to rush the healing. I want to get it right. And I'm in no pain, and it's fine. Rather an unfortunate set of colors, though. They don't go with anything I normally wear. So we'll just cover it up. So I'm fine. Everything's fine. The apartment is my happy place. You are my happy place. These videos are my happy place. And I want to thank you for watching today. I want to thank you for being part of this. I want to thank you for deciding that this little interlude matters, because you matter and you deserve it. You deserve these life hacks. You deserve to know that you're not alone staring at people doing dumb things and saying, is it just me? No, hon. No, it's not just you. We've all been guilty of it. Well, good morning, Scott. Thank you. That's a wonderful thing to say. Thank you. We have all been there. We have all done it. Somebody said, how, you've done so many things and you're so famous. How, it must be hard to stay humble. No, it's very easy to stay humble. In fact, humble is a good thing, because every time I start walking like I own it, yeah, you get those pebble moments, and you get those walk through a doorway and break the only prop, and you get people sending you things that are irrelevant. All because we got a little arrogant. All right, then. I'm excited to be here. Period. I'm excited to be here with you. I'm excited to be doing this. I'm excited for Pivotry and the many faces of personal excellence that we're going to be talking about, that you're going to be seeing and reading and hearing about and recognizing, because some of them are you. And we're going to put this thing together, and it is going to be a tidal wave of we got this. It's going to be just awesome. In the little nibbly edges of it, it already is. And now we're going to make the ripple effect infect every aspect of it. So exciting. So today's Tuesday. I have 2 meetings this afternoon. It stopped raining. Nothing says happy like a girl who doesn't have to wear an ankle warmer in a puddle. And then I'll be back. I have stuff tomorrow. I'm talking to somebody from television tomorrow. And then I'm spending time with Christine tomorrow evening. And then I have more to share with you on Thursday, when we are back here at 10 a.m. Abbey time. So between now and then, you're going to be good to you, because we've already talked about that. And you're going to hug your loved ones, because they deserve it. All right? And I will see you then. In the meantime, hold people accountable. Don't let them vampire your happy mood. Promise me that. Thanks for watching. You are amazing.